well. She's been working on the X9 project that we're going to talk a little bit about today. In the back, we have Brian. He's also been working on X10. He's a junior, a senior. It's his third year on the team. And then we have a few of our mentors. Eric, who's one of our lead programmers. Justin, who does a bunch of electrical stuff for us. And Jay, who is the lead engineer on the X10 project as well. So I will hand it over to Zach. He's going to give you a little introduction, and then we'll get
use the 40M port on the TEP. And then this is just a little more information about it. Yeah. And then I'm going to pass it on to us.
This is just the radio. It's the same as last year, except for this year it can now be powered through the VRM, and until further notice, it will be used in next year's game. Now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the software. In the software enhancements, there's the new roboRIO imaging tool.
we want to open it up right now to general questions. If you have any more in-depth questions that you really want to look at the robot, or maybe we have our laptop set up with all the software and things like that, after this kind of general question session, we'll let everybody come up and see it. You can get a closer look, and we're going to hang around for a while afterwards to answer questions and stuff like that. But if you have any general questions that you'd like to, that you have right now, please feel free to ask, and we'll answer them the best we can. Chris.
Did you all
Yes,
test C++? Did you all do Java and Latin also?
Just in
Yeah, we were chosen, the way that they chose beta testing team is you apply for one specific programming language. And so we program in C++, so that's the only thing that we tested.
How much have y'all banged it around to see if it breaks?
That's a good answer. We've driven it around a little bit on our practice field, trying to, running it into walls, doing stress tests, things like that. One of the tests that we did was a brownout test, just to see if we could ever get it to brownout capabilities. These guys can talk about it a little better than I can.
Yeah, so one of the things they added with the roboRIO is it's more of a safety feature, but they just wanted to make sure that you never lose connection to the field during a match. And so what it will do is that if it reads that the voltage level is way too low, it'll actually cut off power to the board and make sure that your radio is always getting power and that your motors aren't taking all the power away from the radio. So it's just kind of to make sure that you're always connected to the field, whether your battery is low or not.
Kind of that same idea, did you guys test the can? The can, I'm sorry, the can. How reliable is the can?
Yeah, we pushed it up, but we didn't really look at each one separately, did we?
Well, how many devices did you have on your bus?
Say that again?
How many devices did you have on the bus?
We had the PCM and the VRM connected to the PDB.
We've never really worked with CAN a lot in the past, so we haven't really gotten to that point in testing yet. So we were kind of just focusing on making sure the functionality of everything that we normally use was good.
Thank you.
Other than swapping different numbering, are there any significant changes to the code?
The only thing you really need to look out for is you just got to move everything down. So if one thing was 1, now it's 0. You got to be really careful just because like one thing they just didn't change could mess up everything. But for the most part, you can just change everything just one number down.
All right.
How long does it take to reboot the roboRIO?
It's a lot faster now.
Is it? So if somebody dies on the field, they can come up with it.
Again, that's the idea of that brownout feature.
Yeah.
So we sat there running it up against the wall, and you'll lose your motors, but your connection will stay live. But if you do reboot, it's maybe, it's maybe.
It's a quarter to a third of the time that the roboRIO took the hard code. Depends on how much code you have and how fast you come back up. It comes back very quickly. But as far as the question about the CAN and the devices, we have not encountered any of the problems that have been noted out there where some of them have failed and that we've had success with everything. We've been up pretty much started right from the beginning. Testing. We've done a little bit more testing with the CAN bus, reading the data off of there. That's something else that we want to dive in deeper. This is part of the time frame that you got it up and running and working, and now we're digging it deeper to get the data off the CAN bus where you can see, you can get the temperature, the voltage, the current stuff going on.
Okay, thank you.
As far as the code goes, there's a question about, I think, how much difference is it? There are those differences that they talk about. One of the main things that you want to come out and take a look at is the Eclipse is the new IE interface that you use. So that's a little different than you used to if you haven't used Eclipse before and you're used to Wind River like we do with the C++. Just because it's a little bit different from the nature of this. As far as the actual code itself, it's really close to the same. Like they said, the libraries are almost exactly the same. Not all the libraries are out there yet, but we're still working on those for the first
We actually have brought both of our robots. This is our practice bot that is actually wired up with the new beta testing equipment. And then this is our robot from this year, the actual competition bot. We did not install the competition bot because we were using it. And we had a few off seasons and stuff that we were going to as soon as we got the beta testing kit. So we didn't want this one to ever be in a state where it wasn't ready to go on the field. So we wired up our practice robot, but we brought both of them just so you can have a comparison to see all of the old equipment versus all of the new equipment on here. So we'd like to just open up the floor. You guys can come down, take a closer look at anything, ask us questions, check out the X9 chassis that's specifically designed for the new hardware and things like that. So we really appreciate everybody coming out and you know, paying attention to us, I guess, for that. And now we'd like to just have you guys come down and take a closer look. So thank you again.